To be a cinematographer is to have the knowledge of the art. Without any doubt, cinema today is a mixing of art and technology.
Cinematography is a principal factor in filmmaking. Capturing an image through a camera has been in a constant development format from the beginning of filmmaking, even when the Lumiere brothers captured a horse in motion. In the 21st century, cinematography has pioneered a height of development that nobody believed at that point. And in the case of filmmaking, choosing a photographic medium is in the hands of a director and cinematographer. Today, we have a tremendous way of options in choosing a camera, starting from handy DSLR to cinematic cameras like Arri Alexa. However, the biggest choice of medium for productions with a large enough budget is between film and digital capture. In this video essay, I display few interviews of some renowned cinematographers and directors and a few movie clips to break down some pros and cons of using film camera versus digital camera.
The magic of movies is connected to 35 millimeter because everyone thinks, you can't help but think, that when you're filming something on film that you're recording movement. You're not recording movement. You are just taking a series of still pictures. There's no movement in movies at all. They are still pictures. But when shown at 24 frames a second, through a light bulb, it creates the illusion of movement. So thus, as opposed to a recording device, when you're watching a movie, a film print, you are watching an illusion. And to me, that illusion is connected to the magic of movies.
Digital cameras, digital projection, they're all tools. You know, it depends on the project. You choose a different camera like you used to choose a different film stock, and it's going to be digital projection. That's going to be the norm. It's just that's the way the world's going. So you make it the best you can, you know, and it's certainly got a lot of advantages that film never had. Consistency being a really big one. It's about the eye behind the camera. It's not about the bloody technology. It's about the person behind it and
The first one on our list is film camera. Film camera became a phenomenon when Oscar Bannock developed a 35mm film camera in 1925, later then developed into a color format in 1936. Film cameras was in the prime without any competitors till Kodak came with a digital camera idea in 1975. It was a revolution in filmmaking. People started trying out the new digital camera, which is now developed into DSLR and even mirrorless cameras. Digital camera was on a constant development path where it becomes small, handy and user-friendly. But on the other side, we cannot say the same for the film camera. The only major development that happened in film camera after 1975 would be the playback check in it. Even we consider all these, film cameras are still widely used in many major films throughout the world. Even many filmmakers are still relying on film cameras above digital camera. And there are people who stand with the digital camera over film camera, where they say, those who still talks about film cameras are still hanging on the past. But their works say they are not hanging. Interstellar was entirely shot on a film camera. The Grand Budapest Hotel was captured on a film camera. After seeing those films, we cannot say that they are just hanging in the past. It's hard to take a stand between film and digital cameras. Before even thinking about that, we need to go through the pros and cons of using both. Here in this video analysis, I am considering 5 factors to compare between the two types of cameras: expense, size or weight, time, playback, look. First, let's start with expenses.
When you're running a film camera on set, everyone seems to take things a little bit more seriously when they hear the film running, when they hear the money running through the camera, basically.
The good side of digital is the fact that a filmmaker, a young filmmaker, can have a chance, can actually now just buy a cell phone. And if they have the tenacity to actually put together you don't even need that much of a crew, but put together, come up with an interesting story and get some interesting actors or not, and put something together, they can actually make a movie.
Sometimes you're in the middle of a take and you hear sound and you just, oh, it's the worst feeling. And they open it up and it's all buckled and it's just, and that's, how many takes is that? How many fucking takes is that? And it's gone. So digital is terrific. It's great. And it's really versatile. The cameras are smaller and they just have an infinite footage in them. They just go on and on. Very rarely do you have to like change cards and stuff like that. And also there's respect for film because it's enormously expensive and because if you waste time, you're gonna have to switch the bag before you know it. So what that means, with digital, you just turn it on and you just bullshit until you feel you have it. That's a mean way to put it, but that kind of starts to happen. With film, it's like, are you guys ready? Yeah, I'm ready. No, but are you ready though? Are you really ready?
In the case of a film camera, for example, consider an 8mm film roll. It costs about $850 for a 4.5 minute footage to digitalize, which includes the cost of a film stock, its processing and scanning, making it more expensive. Whereas in the case of digital camera, this cost is not applicable as the footage is already captured in a digital format in a SD card. The second factor is the size or weight of the camera.
The red one is 9 pounds and put a lens on it, 14 pounds. On a social network, I went to him and I said, I gotta shoot these tiny boats. They're like the thickness of potato chips. And I can't add 13 pounds of camera out on the side of the thing. I'll topple this boat. He said, okay, what do you want me to do? And I said, you gotta take one, you gotta bore it out, you gotta, whatever it is you have to do, you gotta figure out a way, you gotta give me the IndyCar version of the red one. This is on a Friday. On Sunday, he called me and he said, make the bodies out of carbon fiber. I said, when can I have it by? He goes, it's on my desk.
And the film is, the mags, 1,000 feet of film is this big. That's how big, by this big. And it's incredibly heavy, and that's 11 minutes of film. Also, if you want to move the camera, if you want to be a dick and go like, just go over here. They look at you and go, you want to move the camera? Yeah, and they're like, okay, and let's get everybody together and take this fucking, I mean, it's a monster, and you gotta take it apart and reassemble it, and there's a guy going, ugh! And then also, every time you take it apart, you risk dust. You know, there's this thing, check the gate, is how they move on from something. That's a symbol now in digital.
Digital camera is very handy and easy to manage, while in the case of film camera, it is too heavy and difficult to carry and therefore have limitations in taking various shots. The next factor I consider is time.
The workflow on a film set basically means that you take 1,000-foot loads of film loaded into the magazines, and that enables you to shoot for roughly 10 plus minutes per roll of film.
Cut. I had to cut. Camera reload.
In using film camera, the processing time is high as it consumes time to change mag, to edit and process the film to digital format. Whereas in digital camera, these processes are not needed as it is captured digitally. The fourth factor is the playback.
I don't think it's fun about waking up at like 1 in the morning and you've got a 7 o'clock or so, you've got a 5 o'clock call and you're at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're thinking, oh shit, did I overexpose that? Do you think there's enough in the blacks? Did I get that right? Oh, you know what I mean? And I know, so I kind of know. The mystery of film, I think that's, you know, I could do without that, really.
Watching a monitor on set and you feel that you're really seeing what you've got, I think you're fooling yourself. The audience is going to watch that film on a screen that is, you know, 1,000 times bigger than that. You know, you're watching it on a large TV.
While using a film camera, even though video tap system is introduced, the quality is not best and thus sometimes results in reshooting after processing.
You don't really get to see the movie till it's done. You get work prints, and even because we finished on digital, so the digital dailies are just quick one light transfers that don't really show the depth of the negative or show you how good your film is. You'll never know until you've made all the editing decisions, and then you go back and scan it, which takes like an hour per frame. It takes like a month to scan a movie. And then you see it and you go, holy fuck, this is what I made. This position sometimes is good and sometimes it's bad.
There are situations where a strand of hair comes in the frame, or the visual is focused out, which are seen only during processing and results in reshoot. But in the case of digital camera, the director can see what is being shot at the time of shooting in the monitor in the exact quality, and hence the erase can be rectified at once.
There's so many advantages to digital. I said to somebody earlier, I mean, to me it's like I can be on the set with a calibrated monitor and I can be talking to the director about the image and saying that's what we're shooting. Whereas film, I mean, I know some cinematographers like the mystery of the black box, and you'll find out in the morning at dailies. I don't like that. I like the conversation. I like the collaboration. I like, you know, it's all about that discussion and figuring out how far you want to go, and, you know.
The last and the crucial factor is the look.
I wanted to go back to film because there's just, I don't know, it's like oil versus watercolor. It's just a different ball game, and there's this grain to it. It's for the right things. It's the right thing. There's grain to film. And also I love the discipline of filmmaking. I love that you can't see it.
100 years of experience basically shooting on film, and film is still around. No matter what George Lucas said, you know, that film is dead, and he said that 30 years ago. And film is not dead because people still like to shoot on film because it really has an incredibly beautiful look.
I think that there's a quality to the film that you can't achieve digitally. We shot a lot of black and white film, and it has a quality to it that I don't think you can do digitally. It has this randomness in the grain, and it just has a feeling to it that I don't think digitally you can achieve. And so there's a texture and a feeling and a depth to it that the digital camera doesn't get. So again, I'm not saying bad about digital cameras. They're wonderful. I love them. But you know, there's something special about a film camera.
Even though digital cameras are advanced in every factor, it has not achieved the look a film camera produces because of the magical reaction happening in the photochemical process. After discussing all the factors, as a budding cinematographer, it is hard to take a side of any one of the cameras. Both have its own merits and demerits. If you want the looks provided by a film camera, you may have to compromise on the handiness and compactness. On the other side, digital cameras are compact and easy to use and comes in different options. Using a camera depends on the film, its narration, nature, and its budget. As I said, choosing a photographic media should be done by a joint decision of the director and the cinematographer of the film, while considering the nature of the film.
Celluloid is still going to be a choice.
Both mediums are good and has its own purposes. One should use the medium of capturing the story demands. There is no point in saying one is bad and the other is good. It is the choice of the people who intend to use it.